Okay, good morning and welcome to Iyun Benzion. We're learning Yevamos daf Samach. Yesterday we talked about an interesting concept that this week's Parshas Emor, about a Kohen Gadol. He has to marry a psula. There's a mitzvah to marry a psula. There's also an Isser Chiyuv essay to marry someone who's not a psula. We defined that the different parameters of the pasuk. One pasuk uses bib psula, but there's a mitzvah to marry bib psula, which is more uh, inclusive, that it has to be even someone who's not a bogeres. According to some opinions, it's according to Meir, and according to Rabbi Lezer and Shimon, it has to be someone, even if she's Nivel Shalok Darka, she would be Asur L'Kohen Gadol. There would be no mitzvah L'Kohen Gadol. And then the Isser, Kim Sulam Amma Vikachisha, the second pasuk, that comes to tell you an Isser essay, that would only apply if she's somehow together, really mamish together with a man. And we explained, it says at the end of the Mishnah on Teram and Aleph, that Mukas Eitz would be usher according to everybody. So we explained the reason Mukas Eitz is usher according to everybody. Would even be a lack of the mitzvah, because Mukas Eitz, it's not that she lacks, would just be a violation of the mitzvah, but would not be a violation of the Chiyuv essay. We said Mukas Eitz, because Machlok is related to Rabbi Shimon, is about the mitzvah of Isha b'psuleh yikach, that she has to have complete basulim, even mixes basulim she wouldn't be able to fulfill the mitzvah. You wouldn't do an aveira of chiv essay. You wouldn't do the mitzvah. Rameir says it's bogeres. She's missing part of her basulim. That's what we understood yesterday. Bogeres, she becomes of age. She becomes 12 years and 12 and a half years old. She loses her age. She loses some of her basulim. The basulim become lessened somehow in the body, if that's actually true. It's a little hard to understand, as I said yesterday. And Bia Shaloka Darko also, her body is changed in some way. The hole in the back, and the anus is widened. So that's called mixus basulam. She's not a complete basula. Mukas Eitz, where something penetrates her vagina and completely removes the hymen, so then it's considered a complete basula. You're not being kind of mitzvah according to everybody. But if you marry her, but you're not violating chiyuv essay. Chiyuv essay has to be someone that there was a bila, she got connected to a man. She was raped, or she was married to some other man, then she'd be usher. And we said even mina erisin would be usher, right? You can't marry the Kohen Gadol because she's connected to a man. She wasn't married to the man. It's about being connected to the man, not necessarily the bia to the man, and that would be a violation of the chiyuv essay. Now, we have an interesting Gemara. The Gemara talks about a little different aspect of being a psula. Not only is it relevant to a Kohen Gadol marrying someone as a psula, but there's also another pasuk in the Torah, in this week's parsha, of course, the parsha's Emor. It says, "Ulachosa psula krov elav asher lo yisal ish la yitama." A Kohen is only allowed to can't be matama l'mesim. He can't go into a cemetery with dead people. So he is allowed to go and bury certain people if they're krovim, if they're his direct blood relatives, or even not. The wife is one of the relatives. 7 closest relatives. His wife is one of them. Your 2 parents, son and a daughter. Meaning anyone who's a son or a daughter of you, if he's your brother, and then your sister. Now, a sister does not apply in all cases. This is what this pasuk is telling you. She has to be someone that not only she's psula, she has to be a virgin, and also asher lo yisal ish, she has to be someone who's never married to another man. And then he can be matame for her. If she's married to some other man, or she's not a psula, he can't be matame for her, and presumably he'd be over on a lav of an isser of a Kohen, can't be matame for someone, which is in this pasuk. You can't be matame yourself in a beis akvaros at Kohen. You get malchus for that. So the Gemara cites a machlokes over here on the bottom of Samach Amud Aleph between Reb Meir and Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yosef and Rishim. What are they arguing about? They argue about an arusa, a woman who is betrothed, right? She's engaged to another man. Is she someone that's considered to be not lasher lo isal ish? She's not married to some other man. If she's just engaged, presumably the Bible is talking about being married. What if she's just engaged? Or Meir and Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Yehuda say that he could be matame for her. She's still considered to be not married to him. Rabbi Yossi Shimon say he can't be matame to her. Now they bring a brayso to clearly explain Rabbi Meir's darshaning of the pasuk. The Gemara says, my time with the Remeir of Yehuda, about 10 lines to the bottom, Darshi Haki, Lachos Absula, Pratla Anusa Mafuta, Lachos Absula, a virgin, comes to tell me if she was raped or she was seduced, she had bia with somebody else. She's not a virgin for sure. Yachal Shani Motzi Af Muka says, you might think I might come to exclude a Muka states because she wasn't nivelis by a man. She had a piece of wood or any other instrument came in by accident and dislodged the hymen. Only where she was nivelis to a person. The hymen was removed by natural means, not by a man. So therefore, he would be allowed to metame to his sister as a muka It's a krova. It comes to include a rabos arusa. Comes to include arusa. It could be metame for her, according to the Meir Yehuda. Ela the rabos of Bulgaris. Ela comes to tell me even about Bulgaris. A Bulgaris he could be metame for. Now this issue of Bulgaris is actually everyone agrees about this. Askama is agreement, even according to Reb Shimon and Rabbi Yossi, they agree that if she's a Bulgaris, even though she only has mixes pasulim, she's still considered a psula, enough of a psula that he can be metame for her. So Tosos asks the following question: Elav, the Rabos of Bulgaris. Vim Tomer, Lamali Elav. Why do you need a pasuk Elav to include a Bulgaris? Near be Bulgaris, Lai Talish. Previously, our mayor says Mukas Eitz is included because it says Sherlo Haisal Ish. Right? A Mukas Eitz, she had a piece of wood come into her vagina and remove the hymen by accident. So that is someone considered a psula. So she's considered a psula. So Kol Shekain, a Bulgarian is considered a psula, right? Because what we were saying yesterday, Mukas Eitz, the hymen is completely removed. And a Bulgaris, right, part of the hymen is removed, right? She has mixas psulim. So certainly, if we have, if a muka says where the whole hymen is removed, the Bulgaris, she didn't do anything, just grow older. She became 12 and a half year old. She got breasts and she got other signs of a woman that her area around the vagina became smoother or in the way of a woman. So certainly, if you have these simonim, certainly, if muka says is you can be metame for certainly a Bulgaris, which is less removing of the hymen, there's still partial hymen remaining. So Tosas basically has two teruts, and one of his teruts, I'm going to say very quickly, he says that if we didn't have two psukim, I would have said only the first pasuk comes to include a Bulgaris. You're right, Bulgaris is less of a chiddush. But if I just had one pasuk, I would have said a Bulgaris, I would have said a Muka says you can't marry. So therefore, two psukim, one to tell me Muka says, one to tell me Bulgaris. Tosas Shonim gives a different answer. Tosas Shonim says no. He says in one way, he says in one way a Bulgaris is actually worse than a Muka Seitz. Why is Bulgaris worse than a Muka Seitz? Mishum dishtani gufa. Her body changed. Now, up until now, this is the lush of the Gemara. The Gemara says the Bulgaris ishtani gufa on top of Nun Ten Amud Aleph. When explaining what a Bulgaris really is, her body changed. So up until now, we've been assuming, because the Gemara on Nun Ten Amud Aleph was darshaning mixas pesulim, was calling it mixas pesulim. Bulgaris has mixas pesulim, and it was subject to machlokas from Meir and Relezer Shimon. Mixas pesulim. What is mixas pesulim? By a Kohen Gadol marrying a psula. Mixas pesulim is it? What is the exclusion? Sometimes mixas pesulim, you're not being the kind of mitzvah of psula. So Meir says it comes to exclude a muka seitz. You can't marry a muka seitz. Sorry, a Bulgaris can't marry a Bulgaris. But everyone agrees on muka seitz. So we said the difference was like yesterday, that a Bulgaris, part of her hymen is removed. That's a machlokas. Everyone agrees you can't marry her Kohen Gadol because her whole hymen is removed. I want to say, based on the Tosas Shonim, it's a little different. Ishani Gufa, because we're asking yesterday, Bulgaris, is that really scientifically proven that her hymen actually gets reduced when she grows older? She becomes 12 years and 6 months. Her hymen gets reduced. Not exactly. We have to say, really, she has the same hymen over there. All Ishtani Gufa means that her body changes physically. Simane Bagra, she has breasts, she gets breasts. That's one of the simonim. And, the formation of her skin around the vagina changes. So, those are simane Bagra. So, Ishtani Gufa has nothing to do with the hymen. It has to do with the actual goof of the woman, that her body changes in a different way. So, that would answer the question. And in one way, a Bulgaris is actually worse because a Bulgaris, we would have thought a Bulgaris, even though Muka says he can be metame from a Bulgaris, maybe she's considered, she's not exactly a psula. So what do you mean not exactly a psula? It has nothing to do with her psula. She has a complete hymen. So we'd have to learn a new pshat in the word of basula over here. Basula is a virgin, but when she becomes of age, she becomes with breasts and she becomes a fully the body of a woman, in a certain aspect, she loses her pureness, her purity of mind. Psula also refers to not just the physical hymen, but also a state of mind, the purity of mind. She becomes a vulgaris. She becomes someone who's attracted to men, someone who thinks about having sex and things like that. So she loses the purity of mind of a psula. So Ishtani Guf, her body changes. She becomes an older woman. She loses the purity of mind. So maybe she's not. In one aspect, she's less of a psula because she's less of a virgin, less of purity of mind. Amuka Zaitz, who's not a Bulgaria, she's still a Nara, right? So even though her hymen is physically not there, but she's still in purity of mind and she's a psula. So that's the difference over here. So we'd have to come up with a new explanation of Kohen Gadol can't marry a psula. We'd have to say the reason that everyone says the Muka Zaitz he can't marry is not because it's because Bulgaris, she has mixed psula, she has half a hymen, and Muka Zaitz loses her whole hymen. No. A Bulgaris over there mixes psulim, and Shalom Kedarka also has nothing to do. The mitzvah of a Kohen Gadol has to marry psula has to do with the purity of mind. It has nothing to do with the physical hymen. It has to do with the purity of mind, and therefore that's machlokas in the Mishnah on Temin Aleph. The Meir holds that she's Bulgaris. She loses the purity of mind. And others Shimon holds only if she's Nevel Shalok Kedarka, she's raped from the back, she has Bia from the back, Marinus, so then she loses the purity of mind. And that's the mitzvah. The mitzvah of the Kohen Gadol, which is besides the Isser Essay, a level above, he has to marry someone with purity of mind. And then there's an Isser Essay of marrying someone who practically lost her virginity in the physical aspect. Mukazej, everyone asers is, they have to say, not like you said yesterday, it's because of the Chi of Essay, the Isser Essay, of a practical of losing her virginity, losing her hymen. That would be the explanation. Hope you enjoyed it. Today's share a little long, but it was a good one. Bye.